Weaver, Executive Director of Guideposts of Strength.
And I'm Dr. Bernard Chinnasamy, President and Medical Director of Guideposts of Strength.
And this is GPS News. It's a regular look at the cancer-related headlines of today. What I wanted to talk with you about today is this. We drive down the highway and we see billboards for hospitals. We open our newspapers and we see ads for hospitals. A long time ago, to get the best medical care, you had to go to a big hospital. But things have changed a lot, and I just want to know how that affects our cancer care and our decisions about cancer care.
I think cancer care especially has all the connotations of being a life-threatening illness, and everybody deserves the best care they can get. In the past, you are absolutely correct. In order to get great cancer care, you had to go to what we call a quaternary care hospital. Today, however, things have changed in the field of cancer. What do I mean by that? The reason for this is the change in technology has allowed us to pretty much deploy what's normally available only in quaternary care hospitals right at home. For example, even clinical trials, most of them which are popular are clearly available to you close to home. The universities and community hospitals have partnered in an unprecedented way so that we can now be able to give people the care where they live.
So really, it's okay for it to be a consumer choice now. It's in most cases, it's okay for us to shop around and see what fits our life better.
Absolutely. Right now, in cancer care, everything is mostly standardized. There's something called NCCN guidelines, which is basically a broad playbook as to how every cancer should be treated. And so every cancer care piece is audited by that institution. So unless you have something that is very new, very different, and very esoteric, you can pretty much get it at home. So it's very important that you actually do your own research in terms of what are the ratings for the hospital, how well do the cancer care feel. But more than that is how friendly is that cancer care. It needs to be consumer oriented, more so than ever. Gone are the days where universities alone had the monopoly of providing good cancer care. It's to the point now where it's almost redundant to go to universities because there's so many levels of care, whether it be the med students, whether it be the fellows, whether it be residents. And sometimes that can be very intimidating for people, and they want that one-on-one care. Also, the downside is people in academic institutions have clinic only on certain days. So if you felt sick on the wrong day, you'll be seeing somebody else.
So you wouldn't see, if I had built a close relationship with Dr. Jones and he didn't have the clinic that day, I'd see whoever happened to be there.
That is correct, because they all have protected time for which they'll be doing different rotations. So chances are, if you're not sick on the right day, which your doctor works, you're not going to be able to see that doctor.
I have a friend who lives in Florida, and she is probably around 60 years old now. But when she was in her 30s and had her third child, she was diagnosed with cancer shortly after that. And she had 3 children at home. One was an infant, and her father, who's a rather prominent person, wanted her to go to the Mayo Clinic. This is nothing against the Mayo Clinic, but she told him, if I'm going to beat this disease, I'm going to beat it at the hospital at home because I want to be able to go home at night to where my family and my children are. And she said, that's how I'm going to beat this disease. And that's what she did, and 30 years later, she is doing well. But I think that it sounds like that it's okay to include that emotional component and that convenience factor in your decision.
Absolutely. Cancer is such a traumatic disease. You need your own team. And so having your family nearby is of extreme importance. I think clearly places like the Mayo Clinic or MD Anderson clearly have their place for certain things. But clearly it's usually for second opinions or disease that is not treated in a standard fashion, which are getting fewer and far between. So I think we need to first have your local cancer doctor, usually the medical oncologist, help you make those decisions. And I think this is a very important rapport to have, as our world is a small world, and I wouldn't get so caught up with institutions because it really is the doctor that makes a big difference. For example, if you have like Dr. Keating at MD Anderson, he's a world famous CLL expert. If he were to move from MD Anderson, then it's really not MD Anderson that has Dr. Keating, it's wherever Dr. Keating chose to go. So I say don't get so caught up always in the name of the institution, but do the research on who's the physician who's going to be able to be taking care of you.
So we're back to that person who's driving down Interstate 40 or 85, and we see acclamations of hospitals, awards that they've won. What kinds of things are you looking at a hospital, at a cancer center, when you, the consumer, are trying to choose a place to go? What type of certifications do you want to make sure that a facility has?
Well, the highest credentialing you can get is a comprehensive cancer center designated by the NCI, which basically means they're also teaching institutes. I think that's a very high designation to have, but that doesn't necessarily need to fit what you have, because if you have a cancer that's treatment is fairly straightforward, it really doesn't make a difference where you get treated. The next level of accreditation is to the American College of Surgeons, which is comprehensive community cancer centers, which again is another accolade to have because it's a punch-off list as to what all you need to have. But it's so dependent on what type of cancer you have, and no matter where you get treated, it's very important to find a local doctor that can then allow you to put all this together. Because ultimately you want to come home, you want to get treated closely at home. Cancer is a traumatic, lonely disease, and you want to be close to family. So my recommendation is first talk to your doctor locally, preferably your medical oncologist, and they're usually good at guiding you as to whether you should stay locally, whether you should get a second opinion somewhere else, or if you need to go somewhere else. I think it's a very honest discussion you need to have with them.
And certainly, I think as a patient, is it fair to say that you want to discuss this with your doctor and make sure that you go to a place that treats a number of the diseases like you have?
Absolutely. It needs to be very consistent as what these places deal with, and you can actually get all that information online too very easily. But I think still it's the human connection that ultimately makes a big difference. Because we've always heard of doctors who are technically very good, but bedside manner is terrible. I don't think we need to live through that anymore. I think now the way science is being standardized, nobody needs to put up with bad attitudes or bad service, because that's all part of your wholesome cancer care that you need all parts of you taken care of.
And it goes back to that trust and that communication with your care provider and the whole team of care providers.
Absolutely. So, and even on Guideposts of Strength, they have doctors from different hospitals basically, whether it be Wake Forest, whether it be Duke, Yale, High Point Regional. We invite everybody to be part of this because science doesn't belong to any one person, and the most important thing is that we are all wanting to take care of every cancer patient together, because unless we work together, we will never make progress in this disease. And I think the sharing of the basic sciences and the clinical sciences and the sharing of resources between all the different institutes will ultimately what progresses cancer care.
Thank you. For more information about cancer making headlines, please look at cancergps.org for our regular GPS news. Thank you.
Have a good day.